have a Q&A, so I'm really honoured to welcome onto the stage the director, Elizabeth Peace, the producer, Owen. We've also got the cast, TJ and his mum, Gabrielle Oke, and Chloè Okora as well. Thank you. Feel free to sit down wherever you want to. And we've also got 2 mics here, and there will be a chance at the end for you guys to also answer your questions. I won't be talking that much, trust me. So I definitely start thinking of your questions as well. Is this everyone's first time watching it? Not ours. You've seen it a couple of times?
This is our
Second time. How does it feel like watching it today with friends and family and everything?
I was still tearing up, very much so. It was still very emotional. The message definitely echoed throughout. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it, I feel. So it definitely has an impact. And I feel for me, obviously, the tears are joy, pride, the lived experience, and everything else. And then obviously to see the finished result. Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah.
How long ago was the film shot or filmed? How long has it been since?
November, I think, 2021. Yeah.
So it's been a minute. So how did everyone get involved with the project, starting from Elizabeth? Because we saw towards the end that the script was based on the experience, your lived experience with your brother as well. So why this story as your film? And going down, how did everyone get involved? Is this your first short film?
Yes.
Okay. Why the story?
Yes, let's begin there. Yeah, so it's my first, and I think with any first, you do what they say, do what you know. If that makes sense. Like, do something that you know very well, or at least a lived experience of it, and this felt true to that. And going into the world of filmmaking itself, you don't want to be. You want to at least have some sense of grounding, and this story for me was that. I think knowing and understanding how to be, how it is to live as a sibling carer for years, really taught me a lot about what it means to care for someone, what it means to advocate for someone, champion someone, and I felt with this story, particularly because it focused on a Black character, and the Black community, I feel there's not a lot of that anyway. So I wanted to be careful of that and make sure that I'm looking after my community in the journey of making the film, and not showing us in, being autistic anyway, I think it's difficult anyway, and the stories that have been put out so like on screen, movie making, or anything like that hasn't been to my anyway, that great. The representation for the autistic community has been quite dire, to be honest. And this film for me was a chance to reflect what I know and what I understand as a sibling carer, what it is to be autistic. But then also just wanting my brother to see himself on screen. Just a version of himself on screen. Yeah, he doesn't see much like people like him anyway. And it was a chance for me to be like, yeah, there are others, and you're not alone. Which it can feel like that. It can feel like that a lot, like the isolated feeling. So that's what it was for me. This film.
cast? Before I get to Aletha, how did you find out about the casting call? What did you think when you first read the script?
Yeah, I got it through my agent, so it came through kind of every job for me has come through. But I got it whilst I was filming another show at the time. I was actually filming Bridgerton at the time. It's a small yeah, but it was very, so reading this, I was quite intimidated because it was extremely different. I was very like RP and like Queen's English in Bridgerton, and then to switch to something that was kind of more grounded, more like close to home, that was based on a real story. The pressure was getting worse, you know. But yeah, I felt like a different. Bridgerton was more like, you know, whimsical and make believe, and then this was the absolute opposite of that. This was like real hard hitting stuff. So it was really important for me that I would be able to like kind of do it justice and kind of get my head fully into it. So that was what reading the script was like, having the conversation with Aletha and Elizabeth and just really making sure that I'd be able to do it properly, do it the way they wanted, and do her story justice, and the story justice of the family.
I was just going to say, on Gabby, and I think you felt the same, when we first received like tapes for the role of Lizzy, like your tape, I think it's the last reading, like Gabby's tape just stood out because I think I watched her tape and I felt like I knew this girl, like I feel like she's someone that I went to school with, and I think that was the whole point, like we needed the character to be so relatable and someone that everyone could project to. Yeah. But I think in terms of like how I got involved with the project, so Elizabeth reached out to me, and I think same, I was really touched by the fact that it was such a personal story, and again shining a light on something in the Black community that people don't, I think, talk about or has had a chance to be shown. So yeah, I just felt as though it wasn't really turned down.
Yeah. You've worked very hard on it, I know that personally. TJ?
So, we was approached by our Instagram, social media, good old social media, because obviously I am that mum, very proud. I'll put my boys out there, like, look what they're doing, look what they're achieving. But again, I was very open with family, friends, just the public in general when we was going through the diagnosis process for TJ, because our process started during COVID, so it was very challenging, just because of the time frames and the restrictions of services and stuff like that, and then obviously being just confined to our own house and not being able to do very much. The challenges were just presenting themselves more and more and more. But yeah, TJ was casted through Instagram, and then yeah, I just feel like everything else, like Aletha and Elizabeth came to visit us, and they met TJ for the first time, so it was very important for them to meet him in his own environment, something that he's comfortable with. And before we even kind of got to the whole filming stage, we was just doing activities so that TJ could feel comfortable with the rest of the cast and with everyone else that was on set. So like just art classes and things that he's interested in. So that was amazing. And yeah, that's how we casted for TJ, I should say.
TJ, do you like dinosaurs in real life as well?
All the time.
Last but not least.
Yes, well, I got it through my agent and auditioned. And I told my friend, she's in the audience there. I told my friend that, and when I got the role, I told my friend because she has autism in her family. Two of her kids have been diagnosed with autism. And I think she was so pleased that I got the role, to be honest. And I do have to say that I was very ignorant about autism, and you mentioned Hollywood before. Hollywood always kind of exaggerates things. Autism, if you're autistic, you can count cards, you can win big at Las Vegas with your strange brother, and it's all it's all fantastical, and they give you numbers, and they're, and it's just so interesting that we always get this one story about autism, and it's a spectrum, and people forget it's a spectrum, it's that end to that end, and it was when my friend did tell me about, surely her son was diagnosed with autism first of all, and I remember that day, she showed me in her garden, it was very sunny, and I didn't say anything, because I thought, well, okay, he's not showing signs of autism, because I thought, okay, there are five signs of autism, and he didn't show any of them, so how on earth would he be autistic? And so that was a learning curve for me, but she was just so excited that I got the role, and so I was excited to be, to play the role and to learn from it, and stuff about the Black community, and then you see there the mother just kind of praying for him to be okay, and like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just atypical up here. I think we're more compassionate when perhaps somebody has something that's not so common with a body part or something. Then yes, it's that, so we can connect to it. And it's like, if it's anything else, there's a certain sense of, oh well, no, then it's bad, and it's not bad. It's just different. We all look at the world in a different way, and whatever part of the spectrum, we're all on the spectrum, whatever part of the spectrum we're on, whatever, it's one world, but we see it through many different eyes, many different experiences, and it was just lovely to learn and to get Hollywood out of my head.
Yeah. And I think the thing about getting Hollywood out of your head is because I know a lot of people who are nurses who are working night shifts but are also kind of finding it difficult to find support for their own families while caring for other people, and even seeing the mum with her uniform coming to the assembly, like probably on her way to work afterwards, but still making that effort to I think that's a character that embodies so many working mums, especially the moment with her and her daughter as well. I think that scene was quite I think a lot. Sometimes when you get older, you realise the sacrifices your parents make and that they do the best. So I think this story could also be like a vital resource for parents as well. That was one thing that stood out to me. How, Elizabeth, with this film, can you talk us through the stages of writing the script? Like, how did you manage to get Slick Films involved, get it funded? Put your hands up if you were involved in the film in the audience.
Like
funded it, helped with the film.
Yeah.
So okay, so we've got some people in the audience.
Yeah, I see you guys. You guys really, you don't know how much a pound can do. It was a lot. First of all, I wrote the script in one night, the first iteration of the script, and in the COVID night, I was in my living room, and I was just like, okay, let me just do it. So I wrote it, and then I was like, okay, let's just work on it, which you do with writing, you keep working on it, you go back, writing and rewriting. And it was a number of iterations, I think 6 or 7, before I then gave it out to friends in the industry to have a read of it. And I was a bit like, just read it and see how it feels, if there's anything that you think should change, any characters you think are just unnecessary, this and that. And it went through a whole kind of cycle of development, the usual flow. And then it came to a part where I was like, all right, well, let's see if I can take it to industry, people I don't know that are in the industry. That's when I met Aletha, and that's when I met Slick. And I'm very, and yeah. Today's gonna be a lot for me, because particularly because of my partnership with Aletha here. If it wasn't for her, I'm telling you that this film will not exist. Applause for Aletha. She's the type of person, and I wish all of you could meet a person like Aletha, she's the type of person that outside of the world of chaos, she's reason. She is someone that you go to and you say something, any kind of problem, question, she gives you a real answer, and she lets you kind of take the journey, and she follows you. She's right there beside you. And there were a number of times when I thought, this film isn't gonna happen. This film it's not gonna see the screen. People aren't gonna see it. But she would be like, no, it's fine. Like, we can do this, or we can try this, or have you thought of this? And time again, she brought me back to center, and she brought me back to why the story was happening and why it's important for people to see it. You need people like that on your team. You need people like that. Otherwise, your visions, your dreams won't happen. And sometimes that person usually has to take a step back. You know, see you shine, see you develop. Sometimes, you know, at the sacrifice of themselves. And I know Anita has done that time and time again for me. And Slick, goodness gracious, they're like a yeah, cheerleaders. They were just like, hey, do you need any help here? Oh, hey, do you need any help here? Hey, do you need, like, they weren't the usual execs that would just be like, all right, like an arm's distance kind of development people. They really were like, every other week, they were like, do you need help here? Do you need help here? Like, do you need any assistance here? Which is unusual for execs. But I think because of their journey with the silent child, and those who aren't familiar with that, they took that to the Oscars and won, 2016. And because of that, their own journey, they saw in us something that was happening, and they could see sort of like a mirror image of themselves back then. And they were like, yeah, let's do it, let's try it. And I think even the prospect of me directing it, because I can write something, but directing it was another kind of level for me personally, because I don't do that. I don't direct. But they said, yeah, why not? Why can't you? Like, it's your story, you can try it. And I think credit to them, because they didn't have to say yes to that. They could easily say, oh, you should try someone who's a bit more experienced, you know? And again, I'm so thankful and grateful for them and their partnership. They really kind of helped us along. They were the ones who even suggested that we went back for a reshoot, which is not usual for a short. And that idea in itself to reshoot, you don't do that. Like, with shorts particularly, there's money. There was no money. But they said, no, we can do it, and they helped us through that. Hence how we got the film, how it looks today. Yeah, it's been a journey of partnerships for me, and I'm so thankful that we managed it.
Thankful that we're able to see it today. So thank you to everyone in this room who was so supportive.